How should you build the hidden potential for the Dr. Arinsu and Panzy? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We are taking a look at the upcoming Peppy Gals units, although they're not really on the Peppy Gals category, the Dr. Arinsu and STR Panzy. These are two characters that are massively buffing the Daima team just before we enter GDC 2026. And in this video, we're going to break down my recommendations for their best hidden potential builds. Starting with the Arinsu here, right? Taking a look at her super attack effect. She does have two super attacks, one for her 12 key, which will raise her attack for 4 turns massively. That's 100% raise, and massively raise defense for 1 turn, while giving her guaranteed crit for the turn. Her 11 key, right? So if you don't get that 12 key and her 11 key, you will greatly raise your attack for 4 turns and increase your chance of evasion by 30% for 1 turn. She has an entrance animation that gives her 250% attack and 40% damage reduction as long as there's another demonic power or Battle of Wits ally on the team. She gets a 250% attack and defense, all allies key 2, and 40% attack and defense damage reduction rate 10% for characters who include Majin Ku and Majin Du. That 2 key is actually incredibly helpful, right? The more key support you have, the greater usability you have on characters like Diamond Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who really do need that extra key. So really good support passive there. When attacking with 11 or less key, she launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a 70% chance to become a true stack. When attacking with 12 or more keys, she has 300% attack, guard, and damage reduction rate 10%. So if you get your 12 key, you got 50% damage reduction and guard. Before attacking, she has an additional great chance of evading enemy's attacks. That's a 70% chance, and 10% extra damage reduction rate. So before, right in slot 1, she's got 60% damage reduction. If you get the 12 key, you've got guard. And of course, if you end up proccing the 11 key as well, you've got an additional 30% dodge, which gives her 100% dodge after that 70% after you super attack. When receiving an attack, she's got defense 200%. 3 or more extreme class allies on the team, you have an additional 20% before attacking. So that's 90% for attacking. I mean, she's more or less untouchable, right? For the most part, as long as you're getting that 12 and 11 key, you are getting you've got 90% dodge, and then 100% dodge, and then you've got a huge boost in offense. Per mission execution or sibling spawn ally on the team, you get 200% attack up to 400%. As first attack in return, she gets an additional 300% offense, and for every attack receiver evaded, she gets an additional 50% attack and defense up to 200%. And starting for the 5th turn, she boosts demonic power allies attack 20% for 2 turns. So as you can see, she's a support unit, but she's also an incredibly offensive unit, and we do want to play into that. She is an int type, which means she would naturally lean into evasion. However, we're not going to go that route. Instead, we are going to lean into her additional. So you see, we want her to proc that 12 key, right? We want her to get that guaranteed crit. And then we want her to get that additional super for also getting the dodge. Both of these are incredibly helpful for her being able to do what she's got to do. So that's what we're going to go for with her. So we're going to go full additional. 15 means we've got a 30% chance plus the additional that we get here from her special equipment, right? Her special equipment is going to give us another basically another 9 on top of that. So that's, 24, 48% chance to do an additional super. So it's going to be really good on her. You can give the rest dodge. You don't really need the crit because of that 12 key effect. For the most part, when you're using her, you are going to focus on getting the 12 and the 11 key with this build. You could do a build where you focus on getting the 11 key only, which would lower her offensive capability, but give her greater survivability. And in which case you would want to give her crit because she wouldn't have any without that, because the only way she gets crit is if she gets that 12 key. So that is my recommended build for the Arinsu here. This is pretty standard stuff for her equipment. Of course, if you got God equips, I do recommend focusing on additional God equips if you do have those. I wouldn't say she really needs the defense. Honestly, if you've got a good bronze attack, I would give that to her to really push that attack. But her basic equips are going to work really well. Moving on to the STR Panzy, right? She only has 1 super attack, which will greatly raise her attack and defense for 4 turns, causing immense damage to the enemy and greatly lowering attack and defense. She does have an entrance animation, which will proc and give her 200% attack permanently, attack and defense permanently, and a 30% chance to perform a critical hit, as well as launch additional super attack for 4 turns. She gets key 2, attack and defense 200%, damage reduction rate 20%, additional super attack. All allies attack defense 20%, attack defense 40%, and evasion 10% for characters whose name include Mini Goku and Mini Supreme Kai. There's only one Mini Supreme Kai, however, the Mini Goku, this applies to INT Daimagoku, Tech Daimagoku, and the new Fizz Super Saiyan 3 Daimagoku. Before evading an attack within the turn, he has a chance of evading an enemy's attack 80%. When attacking, she gets 200% defense, high chance of interrupting attacked enemy, and medium chance of interrupting attack enemy. So 50 and 30%. When attacking as the second or third attacker in turn, she has an additional 300% attack, chance for a critical hit 30%, and launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super. For every super attack performed, she gets 50% attack and defense up to 200%, and starting from the 5th turn from her entry turn, she buffs Battle of Wits for attacks 20% for 2 turns. So she's a little more tech-based than Arinsu is. Arinsu has some good defensive skills, but incredibly offensive skills. And while Panzy can be pretty offensive, what she really wants to take advantage of is this ability right here, right? This is where she's really going to come into play on combined with her support, right? That ability to disrupt the enemy's action. So we want to play into that. So our hidden potential build is going to focus on being able to give her as many opportunities to do that as we can, right? Up to 3 times with her additional supers that are built in. So we're going to lean into that. Since she is STR, she can get a maximum of 15 additionals, and we're going to lean into that. Now, the only way to get more additionals on her through her basic equipment is if you get the gold equips, which would give her a level 6, which will push her over 20, which is a 40%. However, you can always use any other variation of your silver or bronze to push that further. She doesn't really need the crit, so if you have a combo attack and additional silver, I would give that to her over her basic equip. But this is essentially what it's going to look like in its most basic form. Her 15 additionals, 6 dodge, and her base crit for STR. She doesn't need crit because she's got plenty built in, so I wouldn't really worry about giving her crit. Just focus on the additionals and the sub dodge. If you really don't trust that crit, you can drop the dodge and put it into the extra crit. It's really up to you. I mean, 6 dodge isn't really doing much anyways, but it's always there and nice to have if you need it. So those are my 2 recommended builds for Arinsu and Panzy. Both rely on additional builds. I know some people, say, hey, run the... I know some people say, hey, just run full dodge, but I do think additionals benefit both of them the most. So, guys, that is it for our video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, how will you build your Arinsu and your Panzy? I know this banner is a big bait banner. I don't imagine too many people are going to be summoning on this banner. I know I wouldn't. These characters will likely show back up in the general pool as Peppy Gal's units, as they always do. So you're likely to pull them at any point during your summons. Heck, you could probably pull them during your summons during GDC. So it is kind of a way, for most players, you should be skipping out on this. But, if you're coming back to this months later because you pulled them and you want to know how to build them, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below when you pulled these guys and how you plan to build them. So that's it for the video, guys. If nothing else, thanks for watching and aloha.